This is breaking news from 7 News.
Breaking this afternoon, the Justice Department will seek the death penalty against the Tops mass shooter, Payton Gendron. Good afternoon to you. I'm Age Ranch. A meeting just ended between Department of Justice representatives and victims' families. The 7 News I-team just obtaining the 5-page notice of intent to seek the death penalty, where the United States government says the sentence of death is justified and that the United States will seek the sentence of death for these offenses: use and discharge of a firearm to commit murder during and in relation to a crime of violence. In this 5-page document, the federal government outlines the reasons why they will continue to pursue the death penalty against the shooter, Payton Gendron. And among those reasons, it's because Payton Gendron intentionally killed Roberta Drury, Pearl Young, Hayward Patterson, Ruth Whitfield, Celestine Cheney, Aaron Salter Jr., Andre McNeil, Margus Morrison, Catherine Massey, and Geraldine Talley. This also goes on to say that part of the reason why the federal government is pursuing the death penalty here in this federal case is because this was a racially motivated killing. They say Payton Gendron expressed bias, hatred, and contempt toward black persons, and his animus toward black persons played a role in the killings of those 10 people. The federal government goes on to say the selection of site played a huge role here in that Payton Gendron selected the Tops-friendly market on Jefferson Avenue in order to maximize the number of black victims in his offense. Our 7 News reporter Michael Schwartz outside federal court where this meeting just ended. Michael.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ed. Well, a meeting just wrapped up with families of those who were killed in that mass shooting, as well as survivors. I'm told that they were explained why the U.S. was going after to seek the death penalty and walk them through the court process before that status conference with now 20-year-old Payton Gendron here in federal court. There were about 20 people in that meeting. Again, families of victims and survivors, including Mark Talley, whose mother, Geraldine, 62 years old, was shot and killed on that day. Mark, we've gotten to speak a lot in the past more than a year and a half. We sat down yesterday. You told me death would be an easy way out if he is convicted here in federal court.
And I still feel that way. Me personally, I would want him to suffer as long as I'm alive, whether it's 20 years, 40 years, 60 years. I want to see him suffer, being whether county jail or prison close to the city in which he affected so much that day, being surrounded by people he affected so much that day. I would want him to suffer being around those people, not knowing if this is his last day alive or not knowing if he's going to be taken to PC and spend the rest of his life in a small room for 23 hours a day in which his mind will eventually make him go crazy. I want him to be surrounded by people who would not be afraid to kill him in any moment, any second of the day.
You've gotten letters from inmates throughout New York State that have said, I hope this person falls into their hands, from all over the state. What has this been like through the emotions from getting those letters, going to a meeting here, back with families? Is it prolonging the process of grieving?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's prolonging, but it's getting towards closure. Now, with that said, it'll never be closure after losing a loved one in a hatred attack considered by a white supremacist in an act of domestic terrorism. But it's getting closer and closer for this to finally be over with.
My last question, what was that meeting like? They just laid out their plans in federal court?
Absolutely, just laid out their plans, saying they're going to seek the death penalty.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us, and we are always thinking of you and your family, of course. It goes back to that tragic day on May 14th, 2022. Now, Payton Gendron, now 20 years old, was sentenced almost a year ago in Erie County Court on state charges to life in prison, but now this is the entire federal process that prosecutors will now go to seek the death penalty. It's been decades, since the 60s, since a state execution in New York State. Well, as far as the United States, that was outlawed in 1988 to reseek the death penalty, but it's been decades, again, since a life sentence was granted in New York State. We will be here throughout the afternoon, throughout the entire day, covering the latest on this now ongoing case, and developments here from federal court. We're live in Buffalo. Michael Schwartz, 7 News.
Michael, before we let you go, describe the feeling outside federal court right now. We saw Mark Talley step up to the microphones prior to speaking with you live on the air. We saw Wayne Jones, whose mother was also killed. There are a number of victims who are continuing to pour out of the federal courthouse right now before this 2 o'clock hearing, where we are expected to officially learn from the judge and prosecutors and the defense attorneys that the death penalty is something to be sought by the federal government. What is the feeling outside the courthouse?
Well, you know, it's rehashing a lot of emotions. We were in the federal court lobby. Our cameras are not allowed in there, but Zanetta Everhart, who is now a councilwoman here in the city of Buffalo, came down and she had no comment, usually very talkative to us. She did not have comment. She did seem very unpleased. There is definitely a lot of emotion throughout these families. As you mentioned, Garnell Whitfield, his brother, Kat Massey, who passed away in this racially motivated killing, her sister, which a family member, if you remember, in that sentencing in Erie County Court, charged Payton Gendron. She was just here before. Roberta Drury, her family was here. Pearl Young, her daughter, is just behind me. It's very quiet, but as you know, you were in the courtroom in Erie County Court last February. When these families are together, there's a lot of emotions, but I can't say this enough. The strength of these families, the resilience continues. But I do think that speaking to a lot of them over the months, they did not want the government to seek the death penalty. As you just heard from Mark Talley, they wanted him to suffer in whatever prison he would go in. He went on to write a book called 514, The Day the Devil Came to Buffalo. So there's a lot of feelings of just wanting him to suffer. And I will say this, Ed, as we were discussing, this is now the government looking to seek the death penalty,
right.
But this is going to be an ongoing process that is going to take a while.
Yeah, this is not going to end anytime soon. A lot of these family members that I've been speaking with as well did not want this outcome. They wanted this process to just simply end because, as we know, had the federal government said that they were not going to pursue the death penalty, that in fact Payton Gendron would plead guilty to federal charges as he has those state charges, as you mentioned last February. Obviously now that's not going to be the case, and this trial to go through the death penalty process is going to take some time. And as you mentioned, also we will hear more from the judge, the federal prosecutors, and the family members, along with the defense counsel this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Eileen Buckley and Michael Schwartz are both going to be inside that courtroom. We'll keep you posted as we get more information. The bottom line here is that the reason they are searching for the death penalty is because of the actions of Payton Gendron on May 14th, 2022. We'll be keeping you connected to the latest developments on air and online throughout the day on WKBW.com. Another